"Who's that?" a voice asked suspiciously. The single eye quickly darted over towards me. "This is Maggie," Lorna explained. "She's the one I've been telling you about. She's all right, Amber, I promise." The sound of a metal chain being uncoupled followed, and as Amber removed the latch hesitantly, I caught my first glimpse of the young girl who'd been locked up on suspicion of being a madam more than 2 years previously. Still just a child now, I saw her frightened eyes as she looked at me through the gap in the half-open doorway. "Come in," she said, in a voice that sounded as if it had been numbed by exhaustion. As the door opened further, it revealed a meagre and sparse bedsit that was miserable to say the least. The depressingly cramped room was empty, apart from a cot, pram, and other bits of baby paraphernalia. Amber's little boy seemed clean and happy, and he was surrounded by toys. It was clear, even given her dire circumstances, that she was trying her very best. "Can I have a hold?" I asked, gesturing over at the baby. She eyed me warily, and she looked over at her mum, who nodded as though giving her permission. Reluctantly, Amber picked up her little boy and handed him to me, his face momentarily scrunched up as he stretched both his little arms above his head, his body arching and stiffening slightly as he yawned. I felt my heart melt. He was absolutely gorgeous. "He's just had a feed," Amber explained quickly, as though I was there to judge her. She stepped forward, stroked his cheek lovingly with her fingertips, and she looked down at him adoringly. "I think he's tired," she added. "Oh, what a little cutie," I replied. I pressed my face up against the mass of dark hair on the top of his head and inhaled the sweet buttery smell, the one that only newborn babies have. His tired eyes already closed, I rocked him gently to sleep. With him sleeping in my arms, I glanced around the grim surroundings. The small room felt as oppressive and claustrophobic as a prison cell, which was exactly what it was to Amber. She was stuck inside her solitary bedsit, too frightened to leave in broad daylight for fear of bumping into the men who'd abused her. The whole setup felt thoroughly unfair and depressing. "Well, he's absolutely beautiful," I said, trying to lift the sombre mood. "And it's quite clear to me, Amber, that you're doing a fantastic job." Amber sighed as her face broke into a proud and relieved smile. It was clear she wasn't used to receiving compliments, and I felt for her. She was the same age as my Matt, my youngest child. I just couldn't begin to comprehend my children in that situation. Also, her baby boy was just 2 years younger than Maisie. It broke my heart to see them existing in such squalor when Amber was still just a little kid herself. Lorna was trying her level best to support her, but she had enough on her plate with all her other children. "Would it be all right if I came to visit you again, Amber?" I asked gently. She looked at me and shrugged her shoulders. "Yeah, if you want." I knew she was suspicious, even though her mum had told her I was trustworthy, and I didn't blame her. Amber was nothing like the madam she'd been painted out to be. In fact, I couldn't square it inside my head, how this young, frightened girl had been treated the same as the vile men who'd abused her, her sister, and countless other children. But unlike all the other girls, Amber alone had been punished and was still paying the price. It seemed both morally wrong and inhumane, and I felt every protective instinct within me rise with the injustice and the cruelty of her situation. Afterwards, I visited her most days, with the encouragement and the full support of the senior investigating officer. Not only was I concerned for her well-being, I felt responsible, because in my opinion, but more importantly in the opinion of the SIO and every senior officer on Operation Span, she'd been badly treated by Rochdale CID. Instead of interrogations and accusations, I offered support, encouragement, and compassion. I just treated her as a human being.